Let me quickly introduce Alan Saura to you. Let's talk a bit about AJ Plus. It's Al Jazeera's digital-only offshoot, which launched in September 2014 as a new kind of media outlet for people who don't watch traditional television. In a big bet on distributed content, AJZ traded a website for an editorial strategy centered on building audiences directly on Facebook and other platforms. What did they do? They created videos and custom content for each network. AJ Plus videos have been, in the meantime, watched more than 8.5 billion times. Now, Alan is sharing 10 billion now. Okay, so this is from yesterday news. So now 10 billion. He has been with AJ Plus. It's really hard for me to spell it. I apologize. AJ Plus. Since its launch, overseeing the digital strategy, he created partnerships with some of the world's top brands and publishers, and he will share his deep insights with you now. If you're going to prolong your speak longer than 18 minutes, my DigiDuck is coming, okay? So, enjoy. I throw it on you. Alan Saura.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, so just to get a sense of what we do, I'm going to play a quick video.
To the girl on Facebook who commented #AllLivesMatter.
Folks in the U.S. and around the world have watched Ferguson, Missouri in shock.
Can't breathe, hands up! Can't breathe, hands up! Can't breathe, hands up!
We're now at Hegya Shalom Station in Hungary, and these hundreds of refugees, they've been on this road since September 5th. It's now September 15th.
We're here in New Orleans, and it's been 10 years since Hurricane Katrina.
California's largest inland body of water used to cover where I'm standing.
We're in Paris, where world leaders at the UN Climate Conference.
So we were just visiting the asylum center that you were living in, and people got pretty upset when they saw our cameras. Can you tell us why?
Hey, we're with the man himself, Jon Stewart.
You have to carry that in a fanny pack.
We made it to the State House in the capital, Columbia, where the Confederate flag is flying. Is the South more racist?
South ain't racist, no.
Los peluqueros generalmente cortan por un lado y luego cortan por el otro. Y siempre quedará siempre un lado diferente al otro.
Strangers lied 3 times within the first 10 minutes of meeting each other.
These days, it's a lot easier and takes fewer people to spy on one person, or spy on everyone for that matter.
You know, everybody loves your neighborhood teacher, but no one wants to pony up to pay us a salary where we can survive.
You don't feel anything, really. You feel very numb to any emotion.
My father was deported when I was in 10th grade.
So as a billionaire and as part of the 1%, how could you possibly represent, let alone relate to the remaining 99% of America?
What I relate to most is the middle class.
Socialism is a dirty word in American politics. It's lobbed at presidents to try and tear them down, and used by outsiders to set them apart.
Hey! 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 Hey!
If you put your name on this, they're going to destroy you.
All right, so yeah, that's a little bit about what we do. So yeah, since we've launched in September 2014, we've received over 10 billion views. We have over 9 million page likes on Facebook, over 260,000 subscribers on YouTube. We've won 2 Webby Awards, one for Best Online News Channel and one for Best News Series for our coverage of the refugee crisis. And we won a Shorty Award for Best Facebook Presence, as well as the Online News Association Award for General Excellence in Online Journalism. So how do we grow so fast? Those are some of the things I'm going to discuss today. One of those things is innovation, an audience-first approach to everything we do, and content that is specific for the platforms that it's going to. So innovation. AJ Plus was started by the Al Jazeera Innovation Incubation Team. So innovation is just a part of everything that we do at AJ Plus. We're constantly trying new things and learning from what works and what doesn't. So yeah, the spirit of innovation and experimentation is deeply embedded in our culture. So yeah, as I was saying, it was started by the innovation team at Al Jazeera, and they were looking at what is the future of news. They were seeing that people aren't tuning in to the news at 7 p.m. They're getting their news on social streams, especially people in my generation, millennials. There's a lot of cord cutters, you know. So they wanted to kind of reimagine what a broadcast news organization would look like when it's no longer just trying to be broadcast, and it's meeting the people where they are on social networks. So yeah, we have a multi-platform approach. We don't have a website. We just make content that lives on social networks, optimized for those social networks. Our team's split up into editorial, engagement, and platforms. Editorial, we have our real-time team, which makes the short, reactive, breaking news pieces that are about a minute and a half long. We have context, which provides context to trends that are happening within the news. Those are either animated or use a host. We have short 15-minute documentaries. Those usually live on YouTube. We also have a satire team that's working on political satire. It's called Newsbroke. We just launched it on YouTube. And we also have video journalists that we can deploy all around the globe. We also have our engagement team. That's my team. That's looking at how to engage with our communities and looking at data and how that data can inform editorial. We also have our platforms team that's working on new technologies, building out apps for VOD like Apple TV, and also working with VR. Making sure that we're just on top of new technologies that are coming out. So yeah, part of being very innovative is being agile. Posting on these platforms, they're evolving really quickly, so it's important to evolve just as quickly as those platforms are evolving. Platforms are always coming out with new features, and it's important to stay on top of those new features. I hear a lot of publishers complaining when new features are coming out, and there are actually opportunities to really push your content forward. For example, when Facebook Live first launched, we were one of the first publishers to use it, and we sent a correspondent out to the front lines of the refugee crisis, and she was on Facebook Live translating questions from our audience around the world, talking to refugees and getting their stories. It's also very important to be creative and experiment with as many formats as you can and learn from the successes and failures from your experiments and use that data to inform your editorial. Another thing that we do is audience first. We think about audience every step of the way when we're creating videos. So it's really important to think about what are the demographics of your audience, what are their lifestyles, what are their interests, what platforms do they use, where do they live, when are they online. It's not a one-size-fits-all approach because, especially on something like Facebook, different pieces have different audiences depending on what types of people are sharing that content. But it's really important to think about when you're making your piece, who your intended audience is, and why are they going to be interested in your content, and why are they going to go ahead and take that next step and share that content, because that's really how you distribute things with social networks. So even if you don't have an audience yet, you can start thinking about the types of audiences you want to target. So before we launched, we set up these psychographs for aspirational audience members that we'd like to have. So yeah, before we actually had an audience, we were pitching, all right, is this story gonna be good for Kathleen or Kelly or Diego? These were made up people that we all knew their habits and their lifestyles. Yeah. Another important part of being audience first is engaging with your community. We try to use our Facebook page like an individual would use their Facebook page. We establish credibility with great content, and then we listen to our audience. We produce with our audience, not for it. We try to interact with them as much as possible. We respond to questions. We we'll take pitches from people. So yeah, listen to your audience and engage with them. So yeah, as I was saying earlier, distribution on social platforms is pretty much up to people sharing it. So when you're thinking about making content, you should think about who the video is going to appeal to and why are they going to share it. Are they going to share it because it connects with their identity? Are they going to share it because it made them happy or it made them sad and they want, to show someone that emotion? Is it informative? You should also think about the tone, what kind of emotion you're trying to get out of people that watch your video, and really hone in on what the shareable message of your video is. When I meet with producers, I advise them, don't start your video until you have a clear description ready and you have a clear headline. And until you have that, don't start your video. It'll really help hone in the message of your piece. And then, as I mentioned earlier, different videos have different audiences. So it's not just like thinking about a broad group of people that you want to target. Think about individuals and how you're going to connect with them. Analytics and editorial. So analytics is a big part of our editorial process. We're constantly looking at analytics to define our audience's behavior, understand the patterns of our content. It lets us see what's working, what's not, so we can track our successes and failures and provide a feedback loop with editorial. So we meet regularly to go over data to inform editorial on what's working, what's not, down to formats, topics, pretty much everything. So very quickly, I'm going to show you how you guys can use a graph to help inform editorial. So this graph says the video started at 115% for audience retention. Does anyone know what that means? Okay, so one thing that could mean is it was a confusing intro, and people were watching it over and over again to try to understand what the intro was. So we might go back and look at that intro and think about, all right, why was that confusing? And then let editorial know. So the next time we're setting up a similar intro, we can make it more clear. So this graph shows a couple drop-offs. Does anyone know what that means? Maybe they got bored there. So we'll go back and look at the video and see why people are stopping the video there, and try to, the next time we're making a video, make sure that that's not happening. Finally, this graph shows some dips and spikes, which probably means that they're just searching for something, and they're not actually interested in our video. So we could inform editorial, all right, here are the parts that people were searching for, so maybe we should make a piece of content around one of those topics that people are searching for. Finally, platform-specific content. As I mentioned, we don't have a website, so we're designing content for social networks. Our main ones are YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. So we're constantly trying to optimize for those platforms and evolving as those platforms evolve. So we'll come up with an idea and then think about what's the best platform to tell that story. Content should be tailored for that platform. I see a lot of publishers, especially kind of traditional cable news, they're just trying to reversion a TV clip onto Facebook or onto YouTube. And I think some of our success has been making content that is tailor-made for platforms. So what content goes where? Before you start to think about that, you should think about who the user is on those platforms and what the environment of those platforms are. So Twitter is breaking news and live events work really well, and it's a chronological feed. And raw video works a lot better because people, when they hear that breaking news is happening, they'll go straight to Twitter. So we can post a quick video that doesn't require a lot of editing because people just want a quick update. And then also when we're using text on Twitter, GIFs help a lot to convey emotion and enhance the copy of a tweet. So yeah, we'll add a GIF to help give it a little more emotion. And then on Twitter, you get visibility through retweets. So you should think about why someone would retweet your content when you're creating tweets. So here are 2 examples of some text-based tweets that we do. The one on the left is the Trump tracker, which we do every day. And it's just pretty much straight updates on what's happening with the new administration. And on the right is a tweet where we use the GIF. President Trump's son-in-law, Jared Kushner, also met with the Russian ambassador last year, the White House told NY Times. So the GIF just helps kind of enhance that copy, and it definitely makes it more shareable. And here's an example of a kind of raw Twitter video that we've done. It's a veteran at a protest after a police shooting.
My biggest question to them is, what is y'all's protocol? What makes you shoot a man who does not have a weapon in your hand? We don't even have those rules over in Afghanistan, and we're at war. I'm from the military. This is my 1-year anniversary of being a civilian. And since I've gotten out, the only thing I've heard is unarmed shooters. So you mean to tell me we can come home and do that to our own people, but I can't do that in the country that we're in war with? That makes no sense to me. So that's why I'm out here protesting. That's why I'm out here letting them know I am a veteran. That makes no sense at all. So either it's the training or they need to start hiring new people.
So yeah, that's a quick raw video that we sent a video journalist out to a protest to cover it, and he came back with that video, and we just cut that overnight in a couple hours, put some text on screen, and yeah, that's the kind of quick video that works well on Twitter. YouTube is a just video platform. The average length of the videos are a lot longer, and people are finding videos by browsing or recommendations, and they're watching one video at a time, unlike Twitter and Facebook, where people are kind of all over the place, just watching a little bit of content here, a little bit there. So yeah, there's a lean back experience where there is audio, so YouTube videos don't need the subtitles like we have on Facebook, and YouTube's the second largest search engine, so you should definitely optimize your content for search. Also, evergreen content works a lot better than breaking news on YouTube. Yeah, content that people are going to find. So here's an example of our YouTube gun series. It's a 6-part documentary series about guns in America. Each episode is about 15 minutes long. So yeah, it's really that lean back experience, and we're trying to give that binge watching experience that people experience on platforms like Netflix.
Are you prepared to kill somebody?
Oh yeah.
Everybody has that right to protect themselves or defend themselves.
How old were you the first time that you picked up a gun?
I was like 9.
So the bullets
still there.
The bullets are still in you.
Power, money and power.
Below me is just a long trail of blood.
Most all the people who hate Trump are pussies, and they're not going to take to the streets with guns. We've got the gun.
So what did it feel like to actually be in that scenario?
Very possible.
I don't like to see my fellow citizens killing each other.
Let's shoot some guns.
So yeah, with YouTube, we're able to get into a lot deeper, more nuanced things than we are with Facebook or Twitter. And then Facebook is a mobile-first video-off environment. So we're thinking about, what works on mobile, what works with the sound off. Our videos have everything that every video that we put up on Facebook has subtitles. We're constantly thinking about the algorithm. How can we game it? And a big part of that is, posting natively and pretty much playing by the rules of Facebook. If you're posting outside links, it's not going to help you in the algorithm. Your stuff's not going to get surfaced. Also, your stuff's coming. People are discovering your content on the feed, so there are very limited attention spans. You're competing with pictures of people's babies or their weddings and all that kind of stuff. So there's a feeling of FOMO, that people are missing out if they're watching your content. So lead with really important information. The first 3 seconds of your video are crucial, and keep your videos concise and shareable. Yeah, like I was saying earlier, if you can really have that one message that people are going to come away with after watching your video, it's going to be a lot more shareable. And yeah, optimize. Here's an example of a video that we did on Facebook. It has over 35 million views. It's optimized for the mobile experience. It's short. It's highly legible use of type, that text on screen. You can watch it with the sound off. It's simple and shareable, and it has a short description. One thing that we try to think about is keeping our descriptions really short. Like if you were going to tweet something, how can you keep it just one sentence? Sometimes people will share a video just based off reading that description. So if we can do that, let's try to get people to share it just from reading that description. Really quickly, here is that video.
We are harvesting bamboo for production, and we have all the components. When you look at the seed tube, all the sizes that we want, we can get it from the bamboo.
So yeah, we're kind of running out of time, but yeah, it's an innovative story about people that are making bikes out of bamboo. It's very it's a feel-good story. Yeah, and then finally, another thing that we do is add value through commenting. So as soon as we post something on Facebook, we'll try to make the top comment add value. We'll steer the conversation, or we'll add our sources in that top comment, or links that people can get more information. So yeah, if you have any more questions or comments, I'll be around. Feel free to email me. Yeah, thank you.
Alan, thank you very much. Any questions from your part? I go for 3. Yeah, just quickly, 2 more minutes.
So you say
Please, you get a mic.
Oh, sorry. You said you didn't have a website, but yet you have a website.
Our website's basically a landing page to let you know that there's nothing on that website, and to go check us out on Facebook and Twitter and YouTube.
And quick question, how do you make your money? Because
My question, thank you very much. Yeah, your business model.
So we're part of the greater Al Jazeera organization. So right now, we are pretty much experimenting with new formats, innovating. So yeah, we're like a think tank for them. So we luckily are just focused on creating content and growing our audiences right now. But we might have to in the future. And when we do, I just want to make sure that it doesn't jeopardize our journalism.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Please,
yes. Go ahead. World is full of media companies. Have you considered about working with other media companies also? Now you focus on Twitter and Facebook as a media company. Have you considered about being partnership with other media companies also?
Yeah, I mean, we have an app for Apple TV, and we're exploring other platforms. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. One last quick question from you, 5th row. Thank you.
Yeah, hi. I was interested in the graph that you showed where the audience drop-off with the videos. So I was wondering, do you actually have many graphs which literally just go up the whole way? How much is it just somebody just going off to do something else? Or do you actually have graphs that go up the whole way and show that audience engagement in certain videos does not drop off at all?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty standard for it to drop off as it goes. But if you see like clear drop-offs, then we're doing something wrong and people are dropping off for a reason.
How often do you meet with editorial staff to check your experiences and failures and whatever?
Every day.
Every day,
Yeah.
okay. How big is the staff?
There's about 60 to 70 in San Francisco.
Okay, average age?
Average age, probably like around like 32, 33.
Ah, okay, so
Yeah.
old. Okay, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it ranges. Yeah.
We're running out of time. I apologize. Thank you very much for coming and sharing. You're here the whole day.
Yeah, I'm here all day
Okay, lovely.
tomorrow.
And tomorrow
Feel
too.
free to
Lovely.
come
So
speak
meet
with
you in
me.
the pause.